So Shein was founded in 2011 and really came into its current form in about 2014 as you mentioned, this primarily online-only fast fashion behemoth. The company is notable because it wasn't founded by a fashion person, but rather a specialist in search engine optimization. So from its earliest days, Shein has really been focused on gaining attention and traction on the internet, and sort of the whole operations of the company have been influenced by this approach.
Yeah. So, they've soon quickly learned that this is catching on. They didn't invent the fast fashion industry. What does it do differently?
That's absolutely true. The fast fashion industry has really been around since basically the 1970s with the rise of Zara in Spain. And the fast fashion industry operates with this system called small order, quick response, in which which companies place very small orders of garments at factories, and those factories then send clothing to stores where those products are basically tested, and products that sell well are reordered really rapidly. Products that don't sell well are, sort of gotten rid of. And this system isn't novel. It's been around since the 70s, but what Shein has really done is developed it into this super high-tech operation. And they use these proprietary algorithms that factories have direct access to, where garments are really tested on their website in real time, and garments that sell well are automatically reordered from the factories, and garments that don't sell well are automatically canceled. So you have this small order, quick response method operating at sort of its top speed. And because of that, Shein also is producing just sort of an incomprehensible amount of garments. And though some of those garments only have, 100 pieces or so, it's thousands and thousands and thousands of pieces every single day.
Yeah. It too is not the first to copy other businesses and designers. Zara's been doing that as well, and others like H&M, even with collaboration, so not necessarily direct copying, but they have been accused of engaging in anti-competitive practices. What have they been accused of here?
Absolutely. Shein has been accused of sort of poisoning factories against other businesses, most notably Temu, who filed a lawsuit against the company a year ago. Also, they've been accused of just sort of undercutting prices by selling things so cheaply that they're not in competition with other businesses.
Yeah, and it's also been accused of sourcing cottons from Xinjiang, so we know that they are potentially using forced labour. They, again, wouldn't be the first. Has that proven to be true?
It's hard to say. The company denies it, but lawmakers certainly believe that the company is using that cotton and that slave labor. Based on the company's other labor practices, I wouldn't be surprised, but it's difficult to really say for sure.
Yeah. Why did it have to abandon its US ambitions, and why should London be any different for it?
Sure. So Shein has been pursuing an IPO in the States for quite a while, but the company is facing kind of a rare bipartisan attack from both sides of the aisle. Democrats have really focused on these claims of anti-competition and the use of slave labor, and conservatives have really focused on Shein's ties to China and therefore its alleged ties to the Communist Party. And it's sort of unusual in the States to have something that both parties agree on, but they agree on is that they don't want Shein here. And London has been a much friendlier place for the company, and in fact, bipartisan lawmakers over there have really been trying to get Shein to launch its IPO in the UK, in part because the London stock market is a little bit less strong than the New York stock market, and the idea that this global behemoth of a company could launch there would really bring a lot of capital into the London Stock Exchange.
A lot of capital, but perhaps too a lot of scrutiny about its business practices, and ultimately it may not play out as well as they would think.
Absolutely. And the scrutiny of the business practices is sort of why SHEIN is pivoting away from the States. The company is notoriously kind of secretive. It's a lot of information about SHEIN is not quite public, and revealing the information that might help them launch the IPO in the States might put their business in trouble. So it's sort of it's a tangle that's very complicated here.
Yeah. Like you, I was tempted once, but never again. I mean, it is an interesting one as to, you know, whether it has longevity. I guess there's so many people in the world, we're all going to try it once and realise, oh, well, the quality's not there, and how could it be when it's $3 or $4 for a piece of, you know, for a piece of clothing?
Yeah, I think people really. I mean, I think it's sort of unfair to blame individual consumers for making choices like buying fast fashion. A lot of people don't really understand or just aren't thinking about what a t-shirt for $1.50 means sort of in its labor costs, that the savings there are really being paid for by a garment worker in China who is making pennies and working 18-hour days and washing their hair in the factory. And that's why you can have a t-shirt so cheap. It's really these systems of consumption and capital that are the problem, but that's a much more difficult conversation to have and a much larger structural change to make to revalue our relationship to clothing and what we pay for it.
Yeah, that would be an almost impossible one to unravel. Great to chat, Nicole. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.